Have you ever been standing in a room full of people? Maybe it's a bustling work event. Maybe it's a casual get-together where you only know one host. Or perhaps it's just the line at the coffee shop. And suddenly, you can't find the courage to talk to anyone? It's a paralyzing feeling. You look around, and everyone else seems to be effortlessly connecting, laughing, and sharing stories. But you're stuck. It's the classic painful cliché, alone in a crowded room. And if you felt that feeling, you know it's not just a little awkward. It's a genuine, sinking sense of disconnection. You want to connect. You genuinely want to be that person who can walk into any situation and be interesting. And more importantly, interested. But when you try to open your mouth, your mind goes completely silent. It's a big, echoing void where good conversation starters used to be. You find yourself fidgeting, checking your phone, or suddenly developing a deeply fascinating interest in the texture of the carpet just to avoid that intense social pressure. If any of that resonates with you, I need you to know one critical thing. You are not broken. In fact, you are far from alone. This intense social anxiety, this difficulty in just starting and maintaining a flowing conversation, is a ridiculously common issue. It's a fundamental gap in our modern social education. We're taught complicated math and obscure history, but nobody ever sat us down and taught us the mechanics of a great chat. And this is where the biggest mental shift needs to happen. For years, we've been left floundering in social settings, and we end up believing this huge lie, that some people are just born with charisma and others just aren't. We look at that natural talker, the one who seems to effortlessly captivate the room, and we label them a natural, an extrovert, someone with an innate gift. But that is a profound misconception. I need you to internalize this. Conversation is a skill. It is not a magical talent bestowed at birth. And like any skill, like learning to play the guitar, mastering a complex recipe, or getting better at video editing, it can be developed, practiced, and vastly improved. Once you have a good, reliable technique to get you started, that flow you're looking for, that effortless confidence will start pouring out. So let's enter the framework that changes everything, the ladder technique. Once you truly learn how to use this technique, any conversation, whether you're shy, introverted, or just a bit socially rusty after 2 years of lockdowns, becomes easy. It literally gives you a system, a clear, step-by-step path to follow. Each step of this ladder represents a deeper, more meaningful level of conversation, skill, and connection. And today, we are going to walk through every single one. We'll talk about how to start a conversation out of thin air, how to keep it flowing when you think you've run out of things to say, and how to build a real, authentic connection that lasts. All without ever feeling like you're forcing it. Let's jump straight in with step 1, observation. This is the launch pad. This is how you start with absolutely zero pressure. You are not required to jump straight to heavy topics or deep feelings. The mission here is simple. Notice something, literally anything, and then use it to anchor the conversation in the shared reality of the present moment. The observation must be simple, present, and require a low-stakes reply. You could try something like, "This coffee shop always has the weirdest music on. It sounds like elevator music mixed with heavy metal." Or maybe, "Oh, that's a cool bag you have. The color really pops. Where did you get it?" Or even something as simple as commenting on the surroundings. "Have you ever eaten at that restaurant near here? I heard they have the best tacos." The absolute genius of this part of the technique is that it keeps the conversation incredibly light, but personal. You're not asking deep, invasive questions. You're certainly not oversharing your life story. You are simply taking an external, shared detail and using it as a little mental grappling hook. Think about the classic scenario. Imagine you're at that work networking event again. You're standing awkwardly next to a guy in a suit. Everyone else seems to have it figured out. You break the ice with the lowest possible stakes observation. Man, is it just me? Or is it absolutely freezing in this room? He laughs and says, I thought I was the only one freezing. I'm about to put my coat back on. Boom. You now have a connection. You can then have a long, interesting conversation just off the back of finding that tiny piece of common ground. One tiny observation leads to the first connection. The simplest way in is always shared reality. That's the foundational layer of the ladder. Once you successfully navigate that first step, you're in. You've established that basic shared reality. Now we move up to step 2, opinion. This is the point where the conversation starts to take on some color. It's where you start adding yourself into the mix and truly showing your personality. And listen, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, opinions? That sounds scary. What if they disagree? Hear us out. It is not as scary as it sounds, and disagreement is actually the goal. You are no longer just talking about what you see, the cold room, the cool bag, but what you think about it. For example, picking up from the earlier observation, you could say something like, I'm not usually a fan of jazz music, but this playlist in here actually kind of slaps. This gives an opinion on the music. Honestly, I think most of these big-budget superhero movies feel the exact same to me now. They need to switch up the formula. This gives an opinion on a general topic. Or, if you're brave, I stand by this. Pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza, and I'm not ashamed to say it. This gives a casual, funny, polarizing opinion. Obviously, what you choose to say here depends entirely on the setting and the person you're talking to. The key is to keep it casual and vulnerable, not confrontational or political. So, why does this step work so incredibly well? Because opinions spark reactions. They are an immediate, effective invitation for the other person to engage. They are prompted to agree, disagree, or, the most helpful reaction, add their own opinion into the mix. This single step moves the conversation from surface-level chatter, step 1, it's cold, to something far more dynamic. It transforms the interaction into a true dialogue, not a monologue. And even better, sharing a casual opinion shows a key psychological trait, that you are comfortable enough to be a little vulnerable. We're not talking about emotional baggage here. We're talking about being real. You're showing your authentic self, your preferences, and your tastes. And guess what? That is inherently attractive. It signals confidence. There's solid science behind this. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that people who share their honest opinions, even the small ones, are consistently perceived as more trustworthy and, crucially, more interesting. So do not be afraid to drop an opinion or two in there as you climb this rung. It's the essential bridge between noticing the world and inviting others into your world.
Now we come to step 3, experience.
This is the rung that differentiates good conversations from great ones. This is where the conversation shifts from generalized thoughts to specific stories. You move away from "I think" toward the far more engaging phrase, that reminds me of the time. This is the storytelling phase. Examples based on the previous steps might include, if discussing bad movies, I watched this obscure horror movie with my parents once. Worst idea ever. I still get flashbacks. If discussing coffee, this coffee reminds me of the time I accidentally ordered 5 espressos in Italy. I ended up running a half marathon I didn't plan for. If discussing a hobby, I actually tried salsa dancing once. I tore a muscle trying to do a dramatic dip. Keyword: tried. Experiences are powerful. They don't just convey information, they humanize you. They give the conversation actual depth and make you instantly more memorable. And just like opinions, stories are invitations. When you share a personal, slightly funny, or slightly vulnerable story, it naturally invites the other person to share their stories too. People bond over shared experiences, or even similar feelings related to those experiences. Why this structure works is simple and powerful. Most people struggle in conversations because they get stuck. They either stay only on step 1, making observations and keeping the conversation light and ultimately meaningless, or they skip the middle steps and jump straight into step 3, or even the final step, oversharing too fast. The ladder technique ensures you don't skip ahead. It gives you a gradual, intuitive path. It builds trust, engagement, and comfort one step at a time. The beauty of this framework is that it's not complex or difficult to remember. Each step smoothly prepares the other person and yourself for the next one. It's natural, smooth, and most importantly, truly human.
This is it. This is where the magic happens. We reach step 4, vulnerability. True connection lives right here. This is the moment you stop playing a character, the polite, perfect person having a conversation, and you just start being you. You share something authentic about yourself, something that genuinely makes you, you. Look at these examples of moving into this final stage. Honestly, I've been feeling a little burnt out lately, trying to slow down and find some balance. You know, I used to be absolutely terrified of public speaking. And if I'm being real, I still kind of am. Making friends as an adult is totally weird and so much harder than anyone ever tells you. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of bravery. When you share something genuine, you instantly open the door for the other person to do the exact same thing. And when they walk through that door, that is precisely when you build relationships that matter. Crucially, this does not mean you dump your entire emotional baggage onto a person you just met. Remember the framework. It's a ladder. You only reach this step after you've successfully climbed the earlier, lighter steps, building trust along the way. When the timing is right, and trust me, you will feel that moment, vulnerability transforms small talk into real talk. The ladder technique in action. Let's put the whole thing together one more time. Imagine you're at a friend's birthday party. You don't know anyone well. You walk up to someone at the snack table. Observation. Wow, this 7-layer dip is dangerously good. They need to put a warning label on this. Opinion. I swear I could live off chips and guac. It's way better than eating an actual meal. Experience. I once hosted a party where I tried to make 6 different types of dip. People loved it, but my kitchen looked like a disaster zone for a week. Vulnerability. Honestly, I always get kind of nervous at events like this when I don't know many people. But hey, everyone likes snacks, right? Boom. From zero to a meaningful human conversation in just 2 minutes. You don't need to be naturally funny, charming, or even an extrovert. You just need the ladder framework. Tips to master the ladder. Before we wrap up, here are 3 essential tips to help you climb the ladder with ultimate confidence and make this technique a genuine part of your social niche. Listen more than you talk. The ladder works both ways. It's not a monologue. Make sure you are not overpowering the exchange. Ask follow-up questions. Be genuinely curious about their observations, opinions, and experiences, and let them guide the next rung. Practice in low-stakes situations. Don't wait for the high-pressure party. Talk to the barista making your coffee, the shop assistant, or the person next to you on public transit. The more you practice making simple observations, step 1, and dropping low-risk opinions, step 2, the easier it gets when the stakes are higher. Don't force it. Not every single conversation needs to hit all 4 steps of the ladder, and that is totally okay. Sometimes, all you need is a brief, effective step 1
and a polite step 2, and then you can simply leave it at that. The goal is connection, not completion. The latter helps you start conversations, keep them flowing naturally, and connect in authentic and meaningful ways, and that is infinitely more valuable than fake charisma. The next time you find yourself in an awkward silence, just look around, make an observation, and start climbing the steps. You'll watch how quickly your conversations become something deeper.